Okay, folks, welcome back. Welcome back to me, I guess. I've been away for a month. I was doing these game week previews for a solid, 6 months, 7 months, and then I took about a month break, and now I'm back to be doing these twice a week and getting into some really interesting players to recommend. We'll get to that in one sec, but I want to talk about where I've been in the last month as I uh, kind of bogged down and really worked on this project. And this is it here. It's called Sorare Beginners Masterclass. I really wanted to create this comprehensive guide for newbies, basically help people to not make the mistakes I made at the start. And so anyways, you can see, here's the link right here. I'll put it below as well. You can see sort of what I cover in it. There's a little video. There's a ton of chapters. There's about five and a bit hours worth of video here. I walk people through how to get started, how auctions work, how scoring works, all of those things, and then get into something even better. So for those of you that are watching this, you already know how to get into Sorare, you know how it all works and everything. This section really is key. It's about building strategies, roadmaps, understanding kind of different approaches and things like that, applying different tactics and there's spreadsheets to download. There's a bunch of stuff in here that I'm really proud of. So anyways, I think it's quite good. I'm really pleased by it. So if you want to check it out, go for it. But that's not why you're here. You're here for the game week. So let's get into that right away. So it has been a while. I'm a bit rusty, but I went through, I've updated the spreadsheet. So you can also click that link below. You can see where things have been at. And the only thing of note over the holidays was, you could win cards with just like tiny amounts of points, 113 there. There was one that was like 120, I think, in Challenger as well. So it was just a bit of a wacky time. We had COVID, we had, international breaks or league breaks and things like that. So not a lot to kind of take from it. If we look at this upcoming game week, there's not all of the divisions coming up. Challenger Europe has a decent payout, 70 cards. It's looking good right now, but you'll see a bunch more clubs come in. We're pretty early here, and same as in limited. 250 cards, that's quite nice, but we'll start to see more clubs come in, and that percentage will come down. So that's where we're at looking ahead. Now, what I've been trying to do the last several game weeks is actually get you guys thinking several weeks in advance, like actually getting ahead. It's far too narrow of a window to watch a video like this and then recommend a player for this weekend. If you do, you're probably going to be overpaying anyways, right? So instead, what I'm trying to do is get ahead of it and look at least 2 weeks out, 3 weeks out, and kind of in that 3 week to 12 week or 3 week to 10 week kind of window where you can get ahead of the market. We've seen how reactive the market is, and you can make a lot of money just flipping cards. We're seeing it with MLS. Prices are through the roof right now. And if you just simply bought some MLS cards a month and a half ago, and flipped it now, you'd be making some pretty good coins. So that's the kind of place I want to get you at. And so each week I'm going to try and look at different things to sort of think ahead, get ahead of everyone. Limited's a great space, by the way, to do that, because you're only putting a few bucks in. You're buying a card for 20, 30, 50 bucks, whatever. And, you can make a bit of money each time. Whereas rare, certainly sometimes there's a little bit more risk involved. Anyways, let's get to what I'm thinking. So one of the ones I'm really looking at right now is XG. So expected goals and expected assists. And now I think it's a pretty common stat nowadays. But what's really interesting about it for me as sort of a quick hit, a quick kind of find or scouting method is remember the decisive score, which is the real kind of it's the score that really could shoot your average up. It can get your players up into the 70s, 80s, 90s, and so on. One of the biggest influences on decisive score is goals and assists. So might as well look at expected goals, expected assists, because we know that if we can find some advantages there, and then if that expected goals occur going forward, we're going to see some amazing L5 scores, which allow us to flip the card and all of that. So that's why I'm looking at XG so much. It's a great stat anyways. So I'm going to start with Borussia Monchengladbach. So if we take a quick peek here, We're here on FP reference. So they have an expected goal tally of 33, and they've only scored 26. So there's 7 goals they should have had in addition. And what I'm going to show you here is their schedule going forward. So if we look here, so, they've had a really bad run of late. And then, so you might kind of want to write them off. No, I'm not touching that. But I mean, you look, they've basically lost to some of the upper table, kind of top 6, top 8 clubs. Other than this kind of league matchup, this was pretty embarrassing for them. So they really got to turn around. Same as here as well. They should have done better. But what we see here is, so Arminia Augsburg, we go back. Oh, I'm in the way. Arminia Augsburg are down 14th and 16th. Then they have Dortmund away. So, I mean, they're going to lose that. But then we look at Wolfsburg, Stuttgart, Hertha, Bochum, Mainz, and Fürth. Literally everybody around them. Mainz, Bochum, Hertha, Wolfsburg, Stuttgart, Fürth. So literally over the next, whatever it is, was that 10 weeks, something like that, they're playing, other than that one against Dortmund, they're playing everybody in and around them, everybody from 10th down to 18th. So if they're ever going to turn it around, it's now. And so there's a really nice window right now to take advantage of these players. So let's have a look at specifically who maybe is due for some positive regression. So Stindl, we'll get to him in a second, but we look here, XG 5.1 and 3. So 5 goals, 3 assists. He has only 2 and 4. So that's an interesting one. And Bolo, he should have almost 4 and almost 3 goals and assists. He has 2 and 2. And what's the other one? Yeah, Marcus Thuram. So, he should have a pair of goals and maybe half an assist, something like that. He has 0 across the board, just 1 yellow card. So let's go back and let's have a look at these guys. So Stindl's the first one. So he's injured. So this is maybe not one I'd recommend unless you want. I mean, I do think that we can probably get him at a discount right now. So if we have a look, let's drag myself over there again. The good thing about him is that his price has dropped considerably. This is in US right now. He's basically at kind of the lowest point he's maybe ever been, or at least been for a very, very long time. So if you are interested in him, I think now is an interesting time. He is, of course, older, but he is the captain, so he should be there a while. He's pretty steady. And this says he's going to return in early March. That's what I think the manager was saying, something around 3 to 4 weeks or something like that. So not a bad pick. I mean, I don't love his scores, but again, he is captain. He plays every game when he's fit. So, and maybe if they go on a run, he kind of gets back into that space. So Briel, Donald Mbolo, so kind of a young star for them, one of the most highly touted. So if we go to transfer market here, his value, 17.6 mil, is quite nice. And he's been playing well. So, I mean, look at this. He can put up some nice scores. He's a young guy, somebody to invest in. And what I like is the price. So we're kind of in a weird place right now looking at price because Ethereum has dropped considerably. So this looks fairly flat from an Ethereum point of view. If we go to, say, a US dollar point of view, we see, a nice drop here. So, and even if we look, let's go back to US over 6 months. And yeah, again, even more of a drop. So I'm pleased with that. I think that it's similar down in the limited space as well. We're seeing, a complete kind of bottoming out of his value there. So I really like this one as a value pick, whether it's a rare card that you want to hold on to as he's going to continue to mature and get better, or whether it's someone that you just think is going to be due for a couple goals. And so you want to have more of that short-term profit. I like that one. Marcus Thuram, so doesn't play as much and hasn't been, he comes off the bench and he hasn't been necessarily that great. Certainly did well at the end of last year. So I quite like this. I wonder if they're going to showcase him a little. There's been rumors of Liverpool and Inter Milan being interested. So potentially, there's an opportunity for him to turn it around here. And just similarly, we see kind of from a Ethereum point of view, fairly flat, but then what that means is from kind of a dollar point of view, it's quite low, and same thing on limited as well. So again, these are sort of some of the best times to get in on these guys. They're nice and young, and like I said, if he transfers over to say a place like Liverpool, doesn't mean he's going to get a lot of playing time, but at least he's in a pretty good environment, should see his value increase. Luca Netz, certainly I haven't heard anything of him going anywhere. He's kind of gone the opposite way. People are investing in him. They believe in him. He's worth $5.5 million on transfer market. And for an 18-year-old, that's quite nice. You'd like that. So, his numbers are all on the rise. But he comes off the bench. So I don't really love this one. If you're just hoping, if you think he's going to turn it around or play well over the next, 6 or 8 weeks, I'm just not sure if there's evidence there, but if it's a card that you want to just kind of sit on and hold for some time, I have no issue with that. So there's his kind of scores. So he's had a few starts, like 87 minutes here. I think this one was 90, but then there's another one, but then some 17, 61. So I think he's starting to get more regular playing time, but I'm just not sure how reliable that is. Again, he's only 18. And then Kuadio Kone. So not so much on the XG, XA, didn't really kind of come out in on that, but over at SofaScore, what I like here is, he's fourth here. These guys are kind of steady, in their prime, sort of veteran, and then you have him as a fourth best rating. And then some other things kind of jumped out at me. He, what is it here? Yeah, successful dribbles per game are tops, and below second there. Tackles, he's like third here. Interceptions, I think he's near, he's fifth. So, I kind of like this, and also been playing really well of late. So if we look at the SO5 scores, had some really nice games, and even just around here, nothing too horrible really. So I like this. He's only 20 years old as well, so I really like the long-term value. His price is probably a little too rich for my blood at the moment, and we are seeing it kind of rise, but I think from a dollar point of view, it's actually fairly flat, actually. And then in limited, I think we see about the same. So somebody that I would definitely want to keep an eye on if it's kind of more of a longer term investment, not so much again on that he's going to get us goals and assists, but rather just somebody who's seems to be earning more playing time for them. So there you have it. That's where I'm going to invest over the next little while. I think we're going to see some really nice returns from Monchengladbach, and I'm going to try and pick up one or two of those. Hope you do too. We'll see you again soon. It won't be a month. It'll probably be only a few more days. Thanks for following. Take care.